Happy New Year. I hope everyone is doing well and looking forward to 2021 as much as I am. Due to travel restrictions and lockdowns, I was pretty much relegated to staying very, very close to my home here in Vancouver, Washington. And that's not a bad thing because I'm pretty much at the epicenter of landscape nirvana. I have everything from coastlines and sea stacks and mountains and volcanoes and national parks and waterfalls, all within just a few hours of my house. Ansel Adams said that 12 significant photographs in a year is a good crop. So in this video, I would like to share my 12 favorite photographs from 2020. I hope you enjoy. I shot this photo on a very gray and dreary morning in March. It had been raining and everything was wet. The mud was soft and slippery. I used a 10-stop ND filter to smooth the water out and allow the clouds to blur. I love the tentacles of the stump as they reach into the water and the textures in the mud and wood that provide contrast to the smooth clouds and water. I knew instantly I'd make this one a black and white. Lower Lewis River Falls is one of my favorite locations to shoot and not too far from my house. This one was taken in August when the water flow was a little less than the raging currents of spring. I climbed into an alcove and managed to capture this image just as the sun came out from behind the clouds. I loved the rich browns of the rock bed beneath the water, the vibrant greens and dripping water in the alcove, the boulders being highlighted by the sun, and the falls providing a fantastic background to complete the image. Ramona Falls is amazing. The hike in is beautiful and the falls spectacular. Instead of trying to include it all in a single frame, I focused on a more intimate composition. I love the small rock in the foreground surrounded by the water that leads you up to the moss-covered rocks and the curtain of water in the background. In September, I spent a few days in Mount Rainier National Park and came away with some gorgeous photos. This photograph at Reflection Lake was one of my favorites. The still water, perfect reflection, and the soft morning glow in the clouds combined to make the photo complete. The Columbia River Gorge is Waterfall Alley, and I took this photograph of La Tourelle Falls during my Taste of Oregon workshop, the only one I managed to save from the entire year. This was October and the colors were just beginning to change. I loved the light in the scene, the solitary orange leaf in the foreground framed by the flowing water that leads you up into the waterfall, and those gorgeous basalt rocks in the background. This photo of Mount Jefferson was total serendipity. I was actually photographing Mount Hood when I looked to the south and was presented with this scene. The sky was lighting up all around as the sun set, and luckily I had my 100 to 400 lens with me. Zooming in, I captured the mountain along with the rolling hills and the gorgeous colors framing it. One of my favorites from 2020, hands down. I took this 3-shot panorama of Yaquina Head Lighthouse on my Taste of Oregon workshop in early October. The color, the motion of the water, the sea stacks, the sky, the sunset, and the lighthouse all come together to create a memorable moment that I won't forget. I included the famous Japanese maple at the Portland Japanese Gardens simply because it's my first successful time photographing it at its peak. Many have taken this photo, but after several less successful attempts, it was a shot that I can now have in the bag. King Tide at Cape Disappointment in Washington. I've shot this a few times, and with the right conditions, it's incredible. Epic waves over 100 feet tall crashing against the cliffs instantly make for dramatic photographs. Out of hundreds of photos I've taken, this one stood out. While the wave isn't monster-sized, it does look like a monster, rising up to snatch the seagull flying by right out of the air. Add the interesting sky and the lighthouse, and it's a keeper. The wreck of the Peter Iredale sits on the Oregon coast just south of Astoria. By itself, it doesn't make for much of a photograph. But I had done my homework, and I knew the comet Neowise would be visible and in the right spot. And the weather forecast looked good. Combining a beautiful sunset, the shipwreck, and a once-in-a-lifetime comet seemed like it would make a great photograph. And I think it did. Newport Harbor. I absolutely love this early morning sunrise on the fishing boats and the reflections in the still water. The weathered boats and the warm colors from the artificial lights created a beautiful scene. And with the soft light from the sunrise, I think it came out fantastic. This location is literally minutes from my house, and thousands of people pass this spot every single day. But I always knew it could make a great photo with the right conditions. A perfect sunset, Mount Hood catching the last of the sun's warmth, and the floating homes glowing in the falling light create a beautiful scene. Add the boat in the lower right, and it finishes the photo off perfectly. So, those are my 12 favorite photos from 2020. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss a video that I release each and every Wednesday. Also, before you click off the video, check out my website at www.jamesparkerphoto.com. You can sign up for my newsletter and also check out all my upcoming workshops and tours for 2021 and beyond. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.